My ex-girlfriend leaving me was one of the most painful moments of my entire life. I remember being sat at my desk with the thought of her just coming into my head every 60 seconds, just wondering what I could do, potentially anything, to try and get that relationship back. I was truly torn up by it, and I spent hours and hours trying to think through every possible eventuality for what I could do to win back that relationship that I missed so much. So, in this video, I'm gonna save you hundreds of hours of that time and talk you through exactly how do you get your ex-relationship back. Firstly, you need to understand the level of the problem. Women actually have a much higher success rate than men do of getting their relationship back. It's 50% higher chance if you're a woman you get broken up with that you'll get that relationship back. And that's because men can be a lot more impulsive. They can be just feeling very frustrated, they end it, and that's that relationship done. But women instead, it's highly unlikely that they will just break up with you on impulse. They will more than likely have gone through this big process of pro-conning everything about you, of whether they think they should be in the relationship or not. It's quite common for women to have kind of mentally checked out significantly before they end up ending the relationship. So seeing how big of a task it is in front of you, because a simple apology is not going to cut it. She has genuinely decided that you are not the person that she wants to be with anymore. So it takes more effort, which brings us to our second step. That is identifying the real reason that you broke up, and at least the biggest reason. And this can be pretty challenging. One, because people just aren't that forthcoming, let's say, with truth in these instances. They might not even know it themselves. But if you follow the clues, you're willing to be brave enough to look at your flaws, because as much as you might want to be like, well, it was her, she was a bitch, she was the worst. If you're kind of brave enough, it's windy that way, so I'm not going that way. If you're brave enough to look at who you are as a person, you'll start to see there were definitely things you could have worked on. For me, I was like really needy and I was really controlling in the relationship. It was the first time I'd been with someone and I was just so desperate for her approval and always just kind of controlling her because, not in a super psychopathy way, but just like wanting us to be together rather than her going out with her friends, and all these elements of myself that weren't really reflective of the man that I wanted to be. So I found that one of the biggest reasons that we did break up was simply that I'd let myself slip, and that I didn't have the support system I had before. I'd become so overly reliant, and I needed to speak to this neediness that was inside me for her validation and start to overcome it. Thirdly, if you're in that position where you're wanting to get her back, you're not in a position of strength because you're likely missing her desperately, that affection you had, that person you had to talk to. It's all gone. But one of the things that you can do instead is start to fill those voids. Like for me, I then reconnected with friends. I started to find that level of intimacy just by having conversations that were real. I stopped being someone that was not so upfront with how I truly felt. I started being more honest with the people around me, and it allowed me to feel truly seen, which wasn't the case for a long time. So I started to feel those voids, because in any negotiation, if you're going over there from a position of weakness, it's never going to be that good. It's looking at the voids that she left in your life and trying to do your best to just fill some of them, so you're not half a person trying to beg for her to come back and complete you. Like, that was genuinely what I did. I reached out to all of my friends that I had, the university friends, which, because I was not a good person, I had then left those relationships to kind of wither whilst I'd gone all in with my girlfriend. So I went to repair them. And then the final step, second final step, I started to really work on what were the things that I wanted to make me attractive. What were the things that I was doing at the beginning of the relationship that even made me attractive, that honestly led to me getting her in the first place, throwing them away and becoming less attractive. It's the tale as old as time. The guy who is doing all this stuff, he's got the exciting life, he's in good shape, but then he gets the girlfriend and it all starts to fall away. Well, what can you do to start building that back into your life and becoming that attractive person again? Really assessing who it is that you would want to be and starting to incorporate new hobbies, new habits. I got into running majorly after my girlfriend broke up with me. Part of that was because we started to go into lockdown and it was one of the few things we were still able to do. But it allowed me to build back an identity that was better, an identity that was stronger. And you might have noticed that through this process, I'm not really suggesting you go to a party you know she's going to be at. You start stalking her on social media to find out all the things she's doing so you can kind of adopt them habits and then maybe try and run into her, try and relate to her better, be more of that person that you think she'd want you to be. No. Because they ran the data and it turns out the number one thing that helped couples get back together after a breakup at 53% was self-improvement. The journey of actually turning yourself into a more attractive person. Shock that if you were to make yourself a bit better and develop yourself, maybe they will be interested again. And I know that sucks because it's kind of effort. It's not that secret spice text message that you can send to win her over. But if it was that easy, everyone could do it. But it looks like only 1 in 10 men actually get an ex-girlfriend back. And of that, just because you won her back, very few of them then went on to be successful anyway. This is genuinely a difficult task. And I don't want to come across too critical here because I know that pain. I know how it felt and how I would have done everything or anything to go win that girlfriend back at the time. But do you know what that did allow me to do? It allowed me to truly transform myself and really work hard to develop who I am as a person and build up all these new skills. It was a gift of motivation. And that's what you have the option to do when you get in this situation. You can either allow that pain to crumble and crush you, or you can take the opportunity to use it as fuel for who you could be. Because I'll let you in on a secret. I never actually got that ex-girlfriend back. And that's because I didn't need to. By the time that I'd gone through all of these processes, all of these steps, I did the final step. I just found someone that I really liked instead. I found a bunch of people that I really liked instead. Because the thing is, when you turn yourself into someone awesome, loads of people start to gravitate towards you. Loads of people start to get interested in who you are. People that are maybe even more compatible than this person that you're currently pining over. So it kind of hedges your bets. If you're a logical guy like I am, it allows you to hedge who you are as a person and the results you're going to get because you just develop yourself to such a point that maybe you'll get into an opportunity. Maybe if I ran into that girl again, we were both single and we were in a different place, both available. Maybe. Maybe. But I didn't really need that to happen because I allowed myself to get the opportunities to meet new people, to become attractive and have the relationships that I wanted to have anyway. The only option where you genuinely lose is where you decide to crush yourself under the weight of a breakup, not feeling good enough and deciding that that's the end of your journey. Instead, use the fuel, trick your brain, be like, yeah, whatever, we're gonna go do these 100 workouts and we'll win the ex back. Maybe you will, but I know for guaranteed certain, if you put yourself out there, you start to build yourself up in someone stronger. And that doesn't mean just hitting the gym. One of the most vital things that I did in my journey was working on my weaknesses emotionally. That I was someone that was needy, that was insecure. And it was all deep rooted in one emotion that I'd never looked at, I'd never integrated. And it's the flaw of so many men. And it is dangerous to every guy that never decides to look at this and assess it. So if you want to complete your journey of transforming from someone that is suffering and struggling and is devastated, the final step is honestly addressing this secret emotion. And I'm gonna tease it, yeah, I'm gonna be that guy. I'm sorry, okay? But go through these steps, transform yourself, self-improvement. But if you truly want to hit that next level as a guy, check out this video here, and it does detail, like, I'm not just teasing this, whatever, like this one actually helped me. This is the change that I did that truly unlocked a new level to my dating life and allowed me to get the relationships I always wanted to have.